a marriage, lightning man. Don't you worry, it's gonna be alright. 'Cause I'm the judge and jury, and we'll be up all night. You better check for pose. You better check for pose. You better check for
They are dead on that.
all the bad things love can bring. All in the blind spot that we don't see. Wipe the dirt.
It was earlier tonight. I don't.
13, she went to the 13th birthday party. She was happy that we were all together.
She wanted to walk the rest of the way.
You will hurt the ones that love you, and they will hurt you right back. Sing along, sing along. Our love is a heart attack. You better check for pulse. You better check for pulse. Here we go once again for a marriage, lightning man. Don't you worry, it's gonna be alright. 'Cause I'm the judge and jury, and we'll be up all night. You better check for pose. You better check for pose. You better check for pulse.
They are dead on that.
All the bad things love can bring. All in the blind spot that we don't see. Wipe the dirt.
It was earlier tonight. I don't.
13, she went to the 13th birthday party. She was happy that we were all together.
She wanted to walk the rest of the way.
You will hurt the ones that love you, and they will hurt you right back. Sing along, sing along. Our love is a heart attack. You better check for pulse. You better check for pulse.
All right, guys, welcome back to What's the Obsession True Crime, and thank you so much for being here. I just realized I just played our kind of still newish channel intro twice. Thank you for listening to it twice. Tonight we are going to be talking about the murders of Spencer and Monique Tepe, both 37 years old. Spencer, as you may have heard, was a young dentist. He was a dental surgeon, actually. Monique had an education in early childhood education, and they had two little kids, a 1-year-old, guys, and a 4-year-old. Sadly, we have heard that 1-year-old and that 4-year-old screaming and crying in the background of a 911 call when one of Spencer and Monique's friends, after making several calls by several people to 911, finally found out what was going on with Spencer, why he didn't show up to work. He saw his body laying next to his bed in a pool of blood, and there was no other sound in the house but those little babies crying. How horrible is that? And there are so many questions about why did this happen? How could this happen? What was the motive? There was no signs of forced entry into the house. There was nothing taken as far as anybody knows. By all accounts, by like literally all accounts of people who knew Spencer and Monique, they're not perfect. Nobody is, but they're pretty damn close. They have a good relationship. They have a good life, and nobody can really identify any source of, bad blood, of friction, of anything that would incite this kind of violence in their lives individually or for them as a married couple. So tonight I really want to talk about, let me go back to what I ended up calling this: new Spencer Tepe and wife murder, sloppy reporting versus criminal and behavioral analysis. So you may know if you've been around this channel, and if you're new, welcome. Please say hi. Let us know where you're from. And I will let you know that we are very fact-based here. I'm a behavioral therapist, and we like to approach talking about true crime in terms of, human behavior and relationship dynamics. And then when we're talking about the evidence of the case, the crime itself, it is always fact-based. We do not spew bullshit on this channel. If you're going to say something as a fact, you better have a receipt for it or some evidence or a pie chart that's going to show us that is really what it is, that what you're saying is really how it is. So tonight we are going to go through the facts and the timeline of this case as we know it to be right now, because for the first time today, the authorities finally spoke out. This happened on my birthday, like many other things in true crime, December 30th. And just like when Brian Koberger was arrested on my birthday 3 years earlier, it happened between the hours of 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. Well, we know exactly the time he was arrested, but it was the same time, same day. Isn't that kind of crazy? And we're going to take a listen to that as well. We're also going to have to, unfortunately, listen to some of the sloppy reporting, the false reports, the false narratives, and just kind of the bullshit that people are putting out there as though it is solid fact. It's kind of crazy. I hate to give it attention, but maybe we can kind of laugh together, or at least make light of it somehow. Not that I would ever laugh about anything, that is real in this tragedy, but the fake stuff that people are trying to introduce as if what happened isn't bad enough and they had to add their own flavor. Please give me a fucking break, people. Give me a break. But you know what? I just have to take a little tiny detour because you know how much we love Lauren Matthias on this channel. And just last night, talking about fake reporting, false reporting, I noticed when I got home from work that Lauren was live, because even though I unsubscribed, they always show up in my feed. I wonder why that is. And the topic was a shooting in Salt Lake City at a Mormon church. Well, it was shooting at SLC. Everybody out that way thinks everyone knows what SLC means, Salt Lake City, right? And they're all Mormons, right? But it was a shooting at a Mormon church. I tuned in a couple of times because I just wanted to know what was going on. Actually, my mom wanted to know what was going on, and that just happened to be on the channel. It was right in front of me. And I noticed in her reporting, like the 3 minutes I listened to it, she gave us 3 incorrect material facts that she really should be embarrassed about. Now, Cuff You, one of our wonderful moderators, earlier on today sent me this video that our friend Amber, the creator of ATS News, made. And well, instead of telling you what she's about to say, I'm just going to let her say it herself. So we're going to watch Amber from ATS News video right now.
Live stream from Lauren Matthias. The following.
Okay, so just get this. This just happened last night. She posted a few really frenetic, kind of chaotic, discombobulated, like just, in my opinion, kind of weird vibe to it videos on this topic, reporting on this crime. She was like all stoked. She's like, yeah, man, I'm getting back in the groove. I'm getting back into my channel 6 boys a day, reporting the real crime, But, well, she got things so wrong in this particular stream, it was taken down when everyone woke up this morning. Give or take your time zone.
Is the embarrassing deleted live stream from Lauren Matthias on Hidden True Crime, where she was reporting false information about a shooting that occurred on the evening of January 7th in Salt Lake City, Utah, outside a Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints during a funeral memorial service. At least 8 adults were shot, 2 people were killed, 6 others were wounded, with 3 in critical condition. No confirmed arrests have been made yet, and the suspect or suspects remain at large as police continue their investigation. However, we have this video where Lauren is running around, in my opinion, erratically, and crossing over areas that she wasn't supposed to be crossing over into and being told to stay behind the crime scene tape. She asked the officers on the other side of the crime scene tape if the guy she witnessed being detained, who she claimed was being arrested, was the shooter, to which the officer would not reply. But she continues to tell her audience that she saw the suspect and the shooter get arrested, and she gives a full description of who she saw being arrested. However, we all point out that being detained and arrested are 2 separate things. She continues to run around the scene even though there is an active shooter and a suspect at large around 12:30 at night. I think I see why she deleted this live stream. You'll also hear law enforcement update the public on accurate information in a little press conference to which Lauren said she knew was going to be taking place, but instead she decided she was going to break the news before even listening to the authorities.
It was not. Okay.
Sure, are you saying no, it's not, or are you saying you can't answer that question?
Can't answer the question. Is that what he said? Okay, thank you.
Fourth and Fifth Amendments. Don't. I should not like it.
Hey, everybody make sure, let me know when I'm live. Give me a thumbs up so I can tell you guys what's going on. There has been an arrest made. When I get a thumbs up, I'll know I'm live. I'll tell you guys what's going on. An arrest. Okay, hey. Okay, thanks, Alexis. An arrest has been made right here in front of me. Actually, I got video, and I'll bring that to you later. I unfortunately was not live. We do not know who the man is. We asked police. I asked police, is this the shooter? He shook his head. He cannot answer that question. But let me tell you what we know. So, and am I live still? I'm not seeing.
Are you here with the press or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need you either behind that line over there.
Okay.
Or there's a bunch of you guys on that side as well.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. Can I ask you if that was the shooter that you arrested?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. An arrest.
I'm so sorry, guys. Good Lord. I was looking up something and it started cycling over again. So, okay. Yeah. So that was, again, the video that Lauren Matthias, one of the many videos she uploaded talking about this apparent church shooting that was happening in Salt Lake City last night, that she took down this morning because she got it wrong. Another one of the one stream I was watching of hers last night because my mom wanted to know what was going on in that church shooting. And I was like, oh shit, we're going to have to consult Lauren Matthias, mama. Hold on, mama. And, she said that, at that time, she said that there were 2 victims and she thought that there were, 2 casualties and then others were wounded. And she said that 2 of the victims were taken to a whatever nearby children's hospital. So guys, you know what that means. And she said it a few times. That means there are victims who are children. Well, first of all, no, it doesn't mean there are victims who are children. It means that wherever you are, that is a trauma level hospital that can handle the trauma that has been done to their body when they were shot. That's what that means. Maybe it's a child, maybe it's not. But when there's, a shooting of like more than one person, they get those victims to wherever they can get them that's closest by, that has the best chance of having skilled physicians and staff there that are going to save their lives, dumbass. So, people were starting to pick that up and saying, oh my God, there was this church shooting and there were children who were shot. And I don't think that is up anymore either. So Lauren got really busy last night, got her skinny little insecure, paranoid ass in her car or something. I don't know what she did, on her scooter, got herself over Salt Lake City, did all of that frenzied, crazy, chaotic reporting. And then this morning she woke up to think, should I do a 9-hour live stream or should I just take them down? I'm not sure. So I guess this time she just took them down. All right. So this is going along the theme what we're talking about tonight with the Tepe case. So just like Lauren taking down her content on the Salt Lake City church shooting last night that, yes, did happen, but not at all like Lauren was reporting it, which is quite astonishing since she was right there. And she was one of the only people right there, busting right through those police lines like she belonged there, like her lily white ass belonged there. And I think she probably was definitely in a space where she shouldn't be, because contradictory to what she said, the suspect was not apprehended at the time, and she was kind of like in the middle of ground zero. Not a good idea, LL. Not a good idea. So just like Lauren, there are a number of channels that took down the content they posted on the Spencer and Monique Tepe murders mystery last night. And some of that featured content was like, let me give you some examples. Hey, reporter room, I see you. I see you. I see you when you steal my content, and I see you when you put things up that are just wrong. So reporter room, it did this big thing last night about, oh my gosh, there was this 911 call from the Tepe's house, August of 2025. So that's just like about 6 months, I guess it would be, before these murders happened. And it was Monique Tepe, and she must be a victim of domestic violence. And that is not actually how it is at all. There were a number of other channels that did that as well. Most of them have taken their videos down at this time. So we're going to go into that and a number of other things that are being said about this case through the sloppy reporting, and then, the responsible reporting, the expert analysts, and crime scene and behavioral analysis. So first, let's just get a little framework of this murder mystery all together, and we'll go from there. Thank you guys for being here. Please press like, share the link if you can, and we definitely want to hear what you have to say. So if you want to come up, I will send you the link. You can come up on panel. Feel free to speak your mind in chat. And hey, if you're new, please say hello and let us know where you're joining us from. Hey, Calissa. Hey, D-Rod. Hey, Ruth Ann. So good to see you guys. And then Cuff You and Honey Bun, wonderful moderators. Let's see. Hey, Yama 99911. Oh, I'm frozen Jen Soto. Oh, we're just getting into it. Catch up with us right now because we're just starting on the Tepe case. You're good. The water's good. Come on in, baby. Hey, Betsy Sue. It's great to see you. I got your name right the first time. Mike Applegate. Oh, our good OG friend, Mike Applegate. So good to see you. Welcome. It's great to see you. How have you been doing? We miss you. I think I saw McJ earlier, and I'm just going to go down to current time. If I missed you, please don't take it personally. It's just because I'm trying to get things started. And, I just turned 47 like last week on the day that this horrible crime happened. My eyes just aren't what they used to be. Hey, Sarah Bowman, how are you doing? It's so great to see you. They have narrowed down the timeline, saying that they believe. Sorry, gotta get to the beginning of that. We're following a true murder mystery out of Ohio. A young dentist and his wife were found murdered in their home. Their 2 young children were right nearby, also in their home, and they were left unharmed.
There's a body. He appears dead. There's blood. He's laying next to his bed, off of his bed, and there's blood.
We will be listening to all of the 911 calls and some supplementary dispatch communications, creating a timeline of what happened on the morning of December 30th, 2025. We'll also take a look at the most likely theories that law enforcement is undoubtedly following up on as we speak. For those who are paying attention carefully to the patterns of human behavior, of victimology, and of crime, there are many clues letting us know which direction law enforcement is heading as they try desperately to solve this case. My name is Kelly. I'm a behavioral therapist and I'm the creator of this true crime channel. We take a look at true crime cases, looking at the facts, the science, the evidence behind human behavior and crime, as we seek justice for victims like Spencer and Monique Tepe. Such a sad case, man. Hey, and I just want to say, like moderators that have my phone number, if you see Justice A through Z Saves Lives come into chat, she is very local to where this crime happened, and she might be coming in. I have some questions for her. Her husband is also in law enforcement, so I'm hoping she's going to swing by so we can kind of get a local perspective on a few different things. So if you do see her, someone please alert me if you don't mind. Thank you so much. Before we get further into the story, I think it's important to highlight the information just released by the authorities on January 5th, 2026. This video shows a person of interest, not necessarily a suspect, but a person of interest, somebody that the authorities want to talk with. They have narrowed down the timeline, saying that they believe the nefarious acts happened between the hours of 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. in the early morning hours of December 30th, 2025. Being attacked and murdered, apparently at random, by a person that you do not know, is the stuff that nightmares are made of. This is the boogeyman. This is why people get up after they've already laid down in bed to lock their doors. Being attacked and murdered by somebody that you don't know randomly inside of your own home where you feel safe with your children sleeping nearby is the worst nightmare you can imagine, right? The world is now asking, is this what happened to a young dentist and his wife, Spencer and Monique Tepe, in Columbus, Ohio on December 30th, 2025, in the early morning hours while they lay asleep in bed with their children nearby? Hey guys, just real quick, Ruth Ann says the 911 dispatcher made me so mad. So yeah, I definitely, and anaphylaxis, I know you said you're watching, but you're feeding your cat. Our anaphylaxis, the retired police sergeant, I would really love to know what you think about the 911 calls, anaphylaxis, since you have work being a 911 dispatch, and you definitely weighed in on that and give us some perspective regarding the Brian Kohberger case. Yeah, we'll stop after every 911 call, and please, like, listen carefully. I want to know what you think. I definitely have some opinions. I've thought this through really well. I've talked to 3 people in law enforcement. There are 3 people who are, well, one of them is our law enforcement where I work, and the other guys are retired detectives who are teaching courses now. And I'll tell you what they said also. I wish that they would come on, but they're all a little YouTube shy. Maybe someday. Or were their lives savagely taken by somebody that they know for reasons that are unknown, at least to the public at this time? Nearly 1 week after this horrific incident occurred, investigators know that they are looking at a case of homicide, not murder, self-elimination. And why is that? We know that Spencer Tepe was found next to his bed, having been shot several times. His wife, and she was shot 1 time to the chest. Although 9mm shell casings were found at the scene, no weapon was found at the scene. So clearly, this couldn't have been a case of, a husband or a wife taking the life of their spouse and then realizing what they had done and then taking their own life. That just simply couldn't be the case. There was no weapon on the scene. Spencer and Monique were married just under 5 years ago, and they started a family immediately and have 2 beautiful children. Spencer is a successful dentist, having graduated dental school at Ohio State University. People describe him as being personable, wanting to do his best in his practice, and creating relationships with his patients that are going to be meaningful and create that bond that will hopefully make each of his patients a patient for life. By nearly all legitimate accounts, and hey guys, when it comes to this case, you have to right now be looking out for those fake news accounts, those fake news videos that are going to tell you something really sensational about this case. I have seen a ton of them in the past few days. Each day, I've seen more and more, so be on the lookout for that. By all legitimate... Yeah, so that was a video that, I don't know, guys, when did I put that video out? Was it yesterday? It was like 2 days ago. I don't know, I started it like 5 days ago, but then I had to go back to work and I couldn't get it out any quicker than that. But, when I put it out, I think it was 2 days ago. So I was saying that, at the time of the production of this video, oh my God, there's so much fake news out there. It was like right from the get-go with this case, there is so much bullshit out there, and people are like reporting it proudly and, acting like because they have this bullshit information that they are telling to their audience that they're some kind of expert or, aficionado on a subject. It's really quite weird. We're going to, again, watch some of it, but have you guys been seeing all that too? All the just really irresponsible speculation and reporting that's been going on around this case? Accounts, Spencer and Monique had a very happy marriage. I mean, no one's life is. Who is a brother-in-law to Spencer and Monique? Damn it, I skipped back, but I was trying to pause. I just wanted to say it very much reminds me of the Idaho case, the Idaho 4 case. Then with Idaho versus Brian Kohberger, in the beginning, people weren't satisfied with the amount of information they had, and so they either had to fill those gaps in with something, so they just made shit up. Or maybe they were just, looking for clicks and views and trying to take advantage of an opportunity when there wasn't anything real to fill in that space. They thought that maybe their crap could fill in that space and they'd make some money. Whatever the motive was, what's happening with this case is, to me, reminiscent of what happened with the Idaho 4 case. Do you guys agree with that, or am I taking that a little too far maybe? I don't know. What do you think? Let's see, where were we? I'm sorry, guys. Caution. I'm cautioning the fake stories. Okay, here we are. All right, good. Okay. Who is a brother-in-law to Spencer and Monique Tepe, and who provided the beautiful wedding footage that many people have been viewing over the past few days, has this to say about the person that took the lives of the couple.
This person didn't just take 2 lives, right? They took a son and a daughter, a brother and a sister, an aunt and an uncle, cousins. And they obviously took 2 beautiful souls who are just lovely parents. Okay, so we're going to really get into it and talk about everything investigators know at this point, including some information that was just released that you probably haven't heard yet. But I just want to look at this crime from a statistical angle, and it is far more likely that whoever committed these atrocities is somebody that knew the victims. It's much more likely. Now, I just want to say real quick, what I'm doing right here in this video is okay, so professionals that are trying to understand anything, whether it's, as at my capacity as a behavioral therapist, with people that I'm working with, in law enforcement, when you're trying to get your mind, your hands around, the situation, what happened, why did it happen, who did it, right? Anytime you're like really, you're working on trying to figure out something big that has a lot of moving parts and a lot of unknowns, I think it is wise to use a scientific method approach. This is what law enforcement does as well. This is what the FBI does as well. This is psychological profiling and behavioral profiling that is done in the beginning of all those big cases that don't have a suspect apprehended right away. Again, like Idaho versus Brian Kohberger. So to take a scientific method-based approach and break things down and look at the tried and true statistics that give us information, because guys, what is said in psychology is the best prediction of future behavior is past behavior. And that is based on a lot of scientific evidence in my field of work, where psychology scrutinizes human behavior, whether it's maladaptive or benevolent or good for the person, how it causes that person to fit in society, if it causes them any kind of pathologies, even in a loose sense of the word. And then that leads into criminology and victimology, which is what we're taking a look at here. If that's the case, then not. It is probably not a perfect stranger, but at this point, we just don't know. Here's a statistic for you. In 2020, there were 21,000 homicides reported in the United States. And of those 21,000 homicides, less than 5% of those victims were female. Overall, less than 10% of all murders in the United States were believed to have been committed by a stranger. That means 90% of homicides are committed by somebody who knows the victim. Of female homicides, the vast majority were murdered by a man known to them, a family member, an intimate partner, or a neighbor, for example. An overwhelming number of male murder victims are murdered outside the home. Very few statistically are actually murdered within their own home. You can also see from this data chart here that since 2015, murders using a gun as the weapon are on a sharp increase, a very sharp increase. And we know that Spencer and Monique were both murdered using a firearm. We're going to take a more detailed look at everything we know about this crime to date, but first, let's take a listen to those 911 calls from the morning of December 30th.
Columbus Police, Tech 107.
Yes, I would like to ask for a wellness check on an individual.
The first call to 911 was made from Spencer's place of work, and this is because Spencer was incredibly reliable, always showed up on time, and the people he worked with said he would never not show up to work and not call in. And, well, listen to what they had to say. Okay, so again, guys, take a very close listen to these 911 calls. Maybe you've heard them before, maybe you haven't. Let's just chat about them a little bit together. I want to know what all of you guys think, and I'm going to tell you what I think and what I learned from, the people who are in law enforcement or former law enforcement. They all said basically the same thing, and I just think it would be good to have a little discussion about it. There's been a lot of discussion in my chat on these videos about it. So please, please, please speak your mind, baby. Type it up in chat. You can come up here and come on panel. Please just be respectful to each other and certainly to the victims.
This individual, Spencer, works with me, and he did not show up to work this morning, and we cannot get a hold of him or his family.
He didn't show up to work?
Correct.
Okay. Does he have medical problems or?
No, and he's been reliable, and we cannot get in touch with him, his wife, his family, anybody that lives in that house.
Okay. So
There's
you're
2
in
kids
Florida.
in the home. I'm in Florida. I own the business. I was informed by my employees that he was not at work. Have you guys received anything else, like calls about him or like a car accident or anything like that?
No, sometimes people just don't show up to work. I mean, maybe he's sick, I don't know.
I just know that he is he is always on time, and he would contact us if there was any issues whatsoever. And I just don't know how else to say this. We're very, very concerned because this is very out of character.
So that was just the first 911 call. And there has been some. I'm pressing the wrong things. Okay. Sorry, Aaron, or nothing makes sense. It's so great to see you. All my OG moms are here tonight. They're coming back, baby. Come on. It's great to see you. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Now I'm going to read Calissa Katz's comment on that 911 audio we just listened to. And Calissa, I was thinking the same thing when I listened to it, definitely. Calissa says, I think caller, the caller should have explained Spencer was a dentist with patients dependent on him being there at the office versus just an employee late to work. I was thinking that too, because, she's thinking like, what, is he making subs at Subway? Is he, we don't know what he's doing. There are some jobs where you just don't show up to work. And goddamn, guys, anybody who knows me or anyone I work with, if I was half an hour late to work and somebody was like, do you think we should worry about her? They'll be like, what, you mean worry that she's going to, get here in another half hour? No, she probably will. She's usually no more than an hour late. But, some people are just, and that is an example of, future behavior. Best predictor is past behavior. If you were a betting person and you had to bet the ranch on, is Kelly going to be a few minutes late to work tomorrow or not? And you knew me and you saw about my past behavior, you're like, if I have to bet the ranch, I am going to bet that for 100% sure she's going to be late to work tomorrow, but Spencer, not the case. He has a much different behavioral pattern. He established himself as having, a different, kind of, responsibility to, the clock. And yeah, I totally agree with you, Calissa. Let's see. I'm just going to read a couple of these other comments about that particular 911 call. Yeah, Calissa Cat says, because the dispatcher doesn't see the urgency, right? Betsy Sue says, I hope she's been let go since this. What do you guys think of that? Do you think she should be let go? I think I'm thinking, based on what I know from, 911 dispatch workers, job responsibilities and kind of how supervisors and, whoever's overseeing them will manage a situation if they are not up to par on a call, especially when it goes public and viral like this, is that they'll probably get some level of retraining or something like that. I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know based like on what I know about that. Like I just said, I don't think this would get someone fired, but I think retraining would be appropriate. Sarah Bowman says 911 dispatcher seems irritated. She sure does. I agree with that. Covey says the dispatcher makes my ass hurt. Geez, mine too. My ass is hurt too. Oh, girl, well, Aaron, it's so great to see you. I'd love to catch up with you. I'm so happy you're here. Really. Mike says, and he left another great comment. I'm going to read a little bit. It says, it's not like he's a fry cook that goes on a week-long benders at Vegas. Right. Yeah, exactly. So that's where, his boss maybe should have said, listen, he's a dentist. He's a dental surgeon. Okay. My best friend and her husband are dentists and dental surgeons respectively. And I know what the difference in the training qualifications and roughly the salary is for a dentist versus a dental surgeon. Him being a dental surgeon is a very, very prestigious professional position that holds a doctorate and a doctor in front of your name. Yeah, I think he should have said that for sure. Yeah, because he's not, he's not blowing lines for a week and off of strippers' boobies in Vegas when he should be flipping fries. That's right, Mike. All right. Let's see. Lemon Lime 765. Welcome. How are you doing? Says, with the Idaho murders, I was 50-50 on the perp being a stranger and someone known to them. And this is exactly where I am with this one too. Just not enough known so far to form a solid theory. Thank you so much for that. Let's see. Your comment disappeared. I don't know. Listen, sometimes if your comment does go down, guys, I just have to tell you that sometimes YouTube just pulls them down. YouTube pulls my comments down. They're like, you will not be allowed to leave that comment on this channel. I'm like, dude, I'm the creator. And it'll be like nothing bad, no bad words, no bad words, no words YouTube doesn't like. I don't know why they do that. So if your comment does go away, please don't leave and think that we don't want you here. It probably more likely than not, it was YouTube. Okay, so this is what I think about that 911 call. And this is what the 2 retired, 1 current. He's our big protector where I work. Law enforcement guys are. What they said. They said that they listened to this and they were like, oh, well, that was just kind of poor form. She did ultimately dispatch cars out to the residents, right? When this person gave a wellness call. And I said, well, I think so. It seems that way. And they all said that, it would never be the case where someone would make a wellness call unless there was something, materially, obviously wrong with that call that made them not just suspicious, but was, like they knew that the purpose of that call was other than to initiate a wellness check, but something maybe more nefarious. And they gave me some examples, but it gets a little convoluted. They said a wellness check will always be followed up. That it is not up to the operator's discretion. It's not even up to the officer's discretion whether a request for a wellness check will be fulfilled or not. It must happen. Similarly to in my job, I'm a mandated reporter. If I see signs of abuse in a child, or if I have any reason to suspect that it might be going on, I am mandated to report it to the proper authorities. And there are times when I'm thinking about things and I'm like, oh God, I start to think about, God, if I make this report and what if it ends up backfiring on this kid and, things get worse at home and the abuse for them is even worse. And I have to stop myself. And I'm like, girl, you got to stop that. You're mandated, period. And that's why it should be a mandated situation. It should not be up to my discretion. If, I hear something that makes me think there might be abuse happening to a child, I do not have the privilege of deciding the weight or the validity of, that little piece of information, or even if it was told to me accurately. Like, that's not up to me. Who the fuck do I think I am? God, no. You have to send it to the proper agency so they can do their job, go to the next step, investigate what's going on more thoroughly, therefore having a greater chance of identifying indicators and evidence of potential abuse or breaking the law, and then, taking corrective measures so a child or a person is not in danger at the hands of another. Mandated, not your choice. It's the same thing, I believe, and these officers said the same thing too, with 911 operators.
Criticism of the 911 operator dispatchers across the board for not being more alarmed when the Tepe family friends and coworkers are calling in wanting a wellness check done on them, being concerned because they haven't seen Spencer at work and they can't get a hold of Monique. We're going to hear some more interactions that have been rubbing people the wrong way. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about the 911 call interactions. About 20 minutes after the first 911 call at 9:22 a.m., police do arrive at the Tepe's residence for that wellness check. They knock on the door, they ring the bell, they announce themselves, and they don't get any response, so they leave. 911 call number 2 happens when a concerned friend decides to go over to the Tepe's residence and check things out for himself.
Okay, what's the emergency there? Police or medical?
Maybe both, I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of doing the
We already had a call out there. They knocked on the front door and back door multiple times, and there was no answer.
Yeah, no answer. I can hear kids inside, and I swear I think I heard one yell, but we can't get in. At this point, I don't know if I need to break the door in or just get in the house or what. So.
Okay, were you out there when the police was out there?
I wasn't. I just got here about 5 minutes ago.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll send them back out to you.
And before the police are able to get back to that residence for the second wellness check, so to speak, someone else calls 911 concerned about the Tepes. This time it comes from one of Spencer's coworkers. She is en route to the Tepe's home.
Our boss did not report for work. We haven't been able to get a hold of him for 3 hours. We are on site and we can hear kids
Okay, I
inside.
just talked to somebody there.
Okay, I'm just making sure somebody called.
And about 5 minutes after the third call, a fourth call is made to 911 about the Tepes, and this is where things take a turn, going from making calls, asking for wellness checks from the police, concerned about a friend, to finding out that something absolutely horrific happened.
911, what's the location of your emergency?
1411 North 4th.
Okay, 1411 North 4th. We've got several calls on that. What's changed since the last person I talked to?
There's a body. There's a body.
There's a body inside?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me get you on the line with the medic, okay? Stay on the line.
Guys, oh my God. Do you hear that in the background? When he's waiting, she's just saying, okay, let me get you a medic. Stay in the line for the medic. Let me just go back there. Do you hear those babies wailing in the background? I'm so sorry. If you don't want to hear it, don't listen for a minute. I don't have words. Oh my God. These children are now orphaned.
Okay, I'm just making sure somebody called.
And about 5 minutes after the third call, a fourth call is made to 911 about the Tepes, and this is where things take a turn, going from making calls, asking for wellness checks from the police, concerned about a friend, to finding out that something absolutely horrific happened.
911, what's the location of your emergency?
1411 North 4th.
Okay, 1411 North 4th. We've got several calls on that. What's changed since the last person I talked to?
There's a body. There's a body.
There's a body inside?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me get you on the line with the medic, okay? Stay on the line.
Now, y'all, as this caller waits for the medical response person to come back on the phone, you can hear the screams and cries of the Tepe's children, ages 4 and 1 years old, in the background. It is absolutely heartbreaking and brings home the gravity of this tragedy. Those little babies just lost their entire world.
there's a body. Our friend wasn't answering his phone. We just did a wellness check. We just came here, and he appears dead.
Okay.
There's blood. He's laying next to his bed, off of his bed, and there's blood. I can't get closer to see more than that.
Okay, so you can tell he's obviously not breathing or anything.
Yeah.
Is it like kind of like puddle, like, you know? Does he look like?
It doesn't look puddled. I can't look.
Okay. All right. I understand. Okay. And then when was the last time somebody spoke to him?
Yesterday, I suppose.
Yesterday. Okay.
Yeah.
How old is he?
37.
37. Okay. Is he like a drug user or anything like that?
No.
Okay. All right. Just that's a really young age.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. All right. We're on our way.
So there, Spencer's friend tells dispatch that he sees Spencer's body laying next to the bed, and it's such a horrific sight, he just can't bear to look again. From there, we have records of police dispatch talk amongst the emergency response teams as they get into action.
Caller saying they can hear kids inside. Thought he heard one of them yelling. Now we're getting another call saying there's a body inside. S3 can copy.
Who's saying there's a body inside?
We also have recordings of police putting out the word on dispatch that they are going to need to get units to get to this house.
Somebody's telling CFD that he's laying next to the bed and there's blood laying next to him.
Now, in addition to the short video footage that the police released of the person of interest that they want to speak with, the Columbia shooting concerned him and that the neighborhood was otherwise fairly quiet. A Columbus police crime camera sits on a utility pole a few hundred feet away from the Tepe's home at the intersection of 4th Street and East 8th Avenue. The dispatch has asked Columbus police if the camera is operational and captured anything related to the shooting. Now, we're going to listen to that discussion of the crime camera when we listen to some of the dispatch audio here in just a moment. But first, let's listen to some conversations between emergency responders that happened before that as they are arriving on scene and talking about what it is they are finding in the Tepe home. Now, I do want to give credit to the YouTube channel and Plunder, of course. We love Plunder. So, Gina, for the sake of brevity, we're not going to listen to all those calls or all those police dispatch audios right now. Basically, where the public has received some of the evidence that has been, put out there from law enforcement. Of that evidence, it seems like about half of it comes from these police dispatch audios. For example, there were 3 9mm shell casings found at the crime scene, but there was no gun. There was no firearm. We also know, and I'm not sure if they released it yet. We're going to listen to the police chief speaking out of anyone in law enforcement about this crime just a few hours ago today in just a moment. The fact that Spencer was gunned down to death and had several bullet wounds to his body, whereas Monique suffered just one gunshot to the chest, through the side and the chest. I don't know if police released that officially. I do not believe they did. I think that was found out exclusively from people, apprehending that dispatch audio. And, putting it all together is a real bitch. You have to go and get the historical archive of, just a short time ago of that county, of all of the scanner dispatch radio busyness going on. Pick out the ones that are relative to this case, that are important, and put them together, and then make sure, double check the chronology and the timeline of when they were released according to, the agency that releases them, because it's not always right. It's really like a lot of work. So Plunger did that. So I give her so much credit for doing that. It's amazing. Okay, so now I'm going to bring into the stream what the authorities in Columbus, Ohio, just today, finally, what is it? January 8th. This happened on December 30th, almost a week and a half after the crime happened. They're finally speaking out for the first time. And yes, somebody in chat earlier said this is very reminiscent of how the Moscow police force handled things in the Idaho versus Koberger case and investigation. And yeah, I definitely totally agree with that.
Their Wineland Park home more than a week ago now. Good evening, I'm Mike McCarthy.
I'm Terry Sullivan, in for Jessica Ralston. Columbus police say they've received numerous tips linked to a person of interest, but still no arrests have been made.
Today, Rodney Dunnigan sat down with Police Chief Elaine Bryant for the first time since these murders. Rodney?
Mike and Terry, Police Chief Elaine Bryant tells me this is a complex case with a number of moving parts. Right now, the biggest focus is surveillance video and a window of time when detectives believe these murders happened. More than a week after Spencer and Monique Tepe were found shot to death inside their Wyland Park home, Columbus police say the case remains active, ongoing, and anything but typical. Police Chief Elaine Bryant and Assistant Chief Greg Bodker sitting with us Thursday to discuss the case.
We know that there are a lot of concerns and a lot of questions surrounding this case, and we want to be able to be as transparent and answer as many of them as we can. Unfortunately, there are some things that we can't talk about for the integrity of the investigation.
Chief Bryant says the complexity comes from both the evidence gathering process and the need to verify it before drawing conclusions, especially under intense public scrutiny.
It puts a lot of stress on us, but I just want to reiterate, while this case is getting a lot of national attention, we look at all of our homicides in that manner. They all bring us stress because someone lost their lives.
Police have narrowed the likely time frame of the murders to early Tuesday morning, December 30th. That clarity led investigators to release surveillance video showing a person of interest walking through an alley near the Tepe home during those hours.
A homicide investigation, whether it's this one or another one, it's a really delicate balancing act between community safety and investigative integrity.
Assistant Chief Bodker says the decision to release the video came after detectives ensured it would not compromise the investigation. This case has garnered plenty of talk online. Bodker says they're tracking the chatter, but social media talk does not equal facts.
There are a lot of internet investigators. Much of what you see on the internet, first of all, yes, we are monitoring that. And much of what you read is just not factual. We're not going to jump in on those chats and add our comments to those.
As time passes, investigators are racing to collect more surveillance footage, something police say could be critical to solving this case.
I know it's frustrating for people. I know they want answers. As soon as we're able to provide more information, we will absolutely be coming back to talk about that, to give updates, and to be able to give more information. But right now, it's premature for us to be able to say what the motive is, or we don't have a suspect identified at this point.
Police have not said why the Tepes may have been targeted. Bryant says that question remains open as investigators continue reviewing evidence.
This case is definitely disturbing. It's definitely something that we want to make sure that we pour a lot of energy into to try to address and solve. We want to bring some justice to the family.
Chief Bryant says much of this case could hinge on one detail, something a neighbor or possibly a witness may not even realize is important. For now, police say patience is key as they work to bring answers to the victim's family and the community. Reporting live on your side in studio tonight, Rodney Dunnigan, ABC 6 News.
Our team coverage continues right now as we dig deeper into the murder investigation.
Steve Levine tonight is learning what investigators may be focusing on now.
Well, Columbus police are giving few details in connection with this double homicide near Wyland Park. We are speaking with a retired Columbus police homicide detective, giving us insight as to what he believes is being done in this investigation to catch this killer.
It's horrible that happened, but it may take time to solve.
Retired Columbus police homicide detective.
I'm sorry, I'm going to switch things up. Some of these local reports are, I don't know, some of them are excellent and give us information we're not going to find anywhere else. And some of them are really freaking lame. So we're going to switch to something else because this happened to be one of the lame ones. Let's see. Let me read a couple of the comments I'd started here. So a while ago, oops. Oh, this is super sad. Not a Brittany says the mom, Monique Tepe, had a degree in early childhood education. So, you know, she was probably raising them to be very smart. And she was probably very aware of their needs. And then she's gone. I was thinking very much the same thing. not a Brittany. And that is absolutely heartbreaking. It seems like unless we learn something that's like, oh my God, everything we know is wrong. Like everybody was lying about this couple. Like, yeah, no one's perfect. No one's perfect couple. No one's perfect parents. But I bet I think these kids, again, future behavior is best predicted by the cumulative, sum of past behavior. And when we're looking at this family from what we know, if it's at all true, I think these kids were set up for a very nice childhood and the potential of excellent futures. And it's just so sad because who knows what could happen now. As far as I know, I heard the brother-in-law talking today. I'm pretty sure he was speaking today. If it wasn't today, it was definitely late yesterday. And he says they still haven't told the 4-year-old, and the 1-year-old, isn't going to understand the spoken language yet about the parents being missing. But they haven't told the 4-year-old yet that her parents aren't coming back, because he's like, what do you say? Like, what do you, I want to be like, call me. We're going to figure this out. I hope that they are, talking to a professional or a grief counselor, behavioral counselor, somebody who can, help them find the words and the strength to say the words that need to be said to that 4-year-old right now, because what is said to her when she is told the news, really is going to impact the trajectory of the rest of her life. It's a big deal. And I understand why he's apprehensive to do it. I'd be fucking terrified. But I hope that I'm sure they seem very loving. I just hope that they're dealing with that very, very, very carefully. Oh gosh. Yeah. Okay. So Cuff, you said there's a ton of cameras. Some other people were saying very similar things. We're going to get right into that, and then I'm sorry no one looked for you for 2 weeks, Mike. You've been missing from here longer than 2 weeks, and I didn't get a wellness check. I'm sorry. If I don't see you tomorrow, Mike, wellness check at your front door. Just kidding. But you're right. Things are different. You're totally right. And there are questions raised about the swiftness of, them calling for a wellness check and everybody running right to the Tepe house. He had a 75-mile, over an hour and a half commute each way from where he lived to where he worked, which raises a number of questions. Actually, my mom raised these questions when I was talking to her about this last night, and I think she actually came up with a really good theory. She doesn't even watch my YouTube channel. She would never come on, but she's a sociologist. She would have a lot to contribute to the conversation. But I'm like, Mom, come on, you got your daughter's true crime YouTube channel. Watch it. And she'll tell me she does, but then I'll ask her a very easy question about the video. She can't answer it. Makes me sad. But I just twisted out there. But Nothing Makes Sense says, Kelly Lana with Truth and Transparency, as she lives near where this happened too, walked the area. Oh, very cool. I like to see that. Took notes of all the cameras and turned the information over to law enforcement. Well, you go, girl. I'm so happy she did that. The Tepes apparently had a band of cameras that indicated cameras were inside the home. Oh, hot damn. That'd be fucking awesome. Imagine that. But listen, if cameras were inside here, we're going to talk more about the number of cameras in the neighborhood and what might be on them by bringing a segment from the channel Police Off the Cuff into the stream. These two gentlemen that are talking are retired New York City homicide detectives. Both of them responded to 9/11 as well. So we give them great respect for that. I was at 9/11 as well, in the living flesh. Some of you have heard my story. We're not going to go into it today. I'm sweating just thinking about it, but I'll tell it again someday. Okay. Here we are. Whew. Right. Okay, I'm going to have to bring this into the stream. So hopefully it's just going to take like 30 seconds, not even. Welcome to everybody who's here. Again, please do hit the like. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know if there's anything particular about this case that's just like, if Cuff, you said burn in your ass, or that you have a question about, or that you want us to all discuss together. I'm totally open to that. I would love to hear, what curiosities you have. What are you wondering? What do you believe? What happened? Again, this is Police Off the Cuff. I'll put all the links in the description after the live stream. I got home really late tonight. Didn't have time to do it beforehand, but they will definitely be there. We always give credit to our fellow YouTube channel creators when credit is due. And I'm going to tell you, I really like Police Off the Cuff, but some of the things, one of the reasons I'm playing this is some of the things they say here, I think are kind of incredibly ignorant for how smart they are and what excellent detectives they are. And then the next video from a different channel that I'd only like watched once before, I'm playing just because I think she is talking about what she is learning completely irresponsibly and comes off like an absolute idiot. And we're going to have to talk about it from that perspective because it was a good example of some of the reckless reporting that is going on out there right now about this case. My selections of what we could watch together got limited because, last night there was a huge, surge of people taking down their true crime videos in this case, and apparently others, Laura Mathias, because they made themselves look like assholes. Good job, guys.
After a couple was found murdered inside their Wineland Park home. Neighbors say they are feeling on edge. Spencer and Monique Tepe were found dead inside their home on North 4th Street Tuesday. Police say they were called there for a wellness check.
And when officers arrived, they found their 2 kids safe inside. NBC4's crime and safety reporter Anna Hoffman has been speaking with people who live in that area and is live now with how they are feeling throughout all of this. Anna?
Jen and Jared, the people I talked to say there are so many loose ends. I've seen investigators out here today. Just about every house around me also has some kind of security camera. The people here in Wineland Park say if you know anything, the time is now to speak up.
Well, I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
A growing memorial of flowers outside Spencer and Monique Tepe's home, almost a week after the couple was found murdered inside.
This was tragic because you just won't think that it would happen. Like it's close, So I stayed 3 houses down.
Police still have not released any suspect information, making neighbors question their safety.
Certainly an unsettling feeling to kind of be without more detail about something that is definitely very concerning.
They say the area has seen its fair share of violent incidents in the past, but thought it was getting better.
Well, I certainly feel more apprehensive about making moves around nighttime and things like that.
Family members just.
Okay, now I just want to say, and also especially for the next video we're going to be watching, what they're describing there is, the neighborhood can be a little rough on the edges, but, it recently as time goes on, people feel more safe there. That's called, okay, ready class, gentrification. Okay, like this neighborhood, I was looking up all of the information about it, what it looks like, what's going on there, what's the median income, what's the demographics. This neighborhood is a mirror image of the last neighborhood I lived at Philadelphia, which was called Fishtown, which was a heavily gentrified area. One side of it bordered on Center City, which is, the highest real estate property you're going to find until you hit New York City. And the other side of Fishtown bordered Kensington. Does anybody know Kensington? If you don't know Kensington, there's a YouTube channel where you can just go watch a streaming video 24/7 of Kensington and all of the people bustling about, shooting up their heroin, snorting their meth, and doing whatever they do with their crack, and just being one great community enmeshed in a boiling pot of drugs. It's really very horrible, actually. I was right off of Kensington Street when I saw somebody shoot up heroin for the first time. I was on a job in my site acquisition job, expanding the cellular network for Verizon, and they wanted to expand into the ghettos of Philadelphia, which is Kensington. So anyway, this neighborhood the Tempes lived in Columbus, not quite as extreme as I mentioned it with, fancy Center City on one side and then Kensington on the other side, but it is a, urban expansion. The hot spots are pushing out further from the hot city center, and the area is highly gentrified, meaning the people that lived there 20, 30, 40, whatever years ago were, maybe they were Black, maybe they're Hispanic, maybe they were white, Irish, Italian. They were probably some, ethnic group that as we settled in America and moved to cities and then moved out into suburbs. And did you know that Philadelphia is the first suburb in the United States, by the way, people would stay with their own. And that's why people live in different neighborhoods. And, when you look around, you might say, oh, these people kind of look like the other people here. And then we go another, you get it. So it's called gentrification. And that's what happened here. There were some very nice new build or newly renovated properties that people would pay $500,000, $1 million or more for. And the people that move into them were businessmen, dentists, people like the Tepes. And then there are the people that have lived there and their families have lived there forever. And 30 years ago, you could be, 30 years ago, people who were on public assistance, these were Section 8 housing, all these blocks, all Section 8 or whatever. I'm just giving an example. Now they are all mingled together. This happens in cities across the country, most cities that actually are growing at a healthy rate and in a healthy way. This is naturally what happens when, the industrialization and the modernization of technology and industry meets, people like living a more tribal kind of, self-sustenance life with people in their own ethnic group. Gentrification is what happens.
Described the couple in a statement as loving life and say they were proud of their 2 children and dog. Neighbors we talked to say they've seen them out and about.
Every time I seen them, they spoke. There was no evil or nothing towards So like I said, these was fine people.
Friday, Columbus police put out an ask for any pictures or videos in the area that might help them solve this case. We saw a security camera on just about every house in the neighborhood.
That's amazing. And we mentioned that before. There's a security camera on almost every house. So where, again, and Mike, what you said, you're right. They probably have all the video, but maybe it's not usable. Maybe what they showed us could be the very best they have. And that's a little distressing because we were hoping that the big question I have, and I've said it numerous times, is how did this person get to this scene here? Did he park a car around the block somewhere? That car, and when we follow this video, does it just end? Where does he go after he leaves that alleyway? And those are the things that we need to do follow-up investigation and more canvassing, more knocking on doors. Can we see your video from your Ring camera? Trace his steps. Go back. One of the things you do in every homicide scene outside is you take the plate numbers down of all the cars that are in the vicinity of the murder, because could be the perp's car, could be on the scene. So that is like a procedural thing, a checklist thing. Did they do a canvass for vehicles? A strange vehicle, that didn't belong in the area, perhaps. Taking down the license plate numbers. It's no big deal for the police to do DMV checks on all the cars that they pulled the license plate numbers. No big deal at all. Folks, this is Police Off the Cuff, real crime stories. If you like real crime, true crime from a police perspective, in the right place. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up, make lots of comments. We love comments. And definitely share us with your friends and family. If you want to join us, we have a Patreon. You can contribute financially. We also have a YouTube channel membership with 5 different levels, and you can join the Police Off the Cuff YouTube family.
I thought you were, oh, sorry guys, I was talking. Slow your roll, Bill. You can't go all promoting all that stuff right now. I was actually looking, this was just a small cut of the one video of his I wanted to show you. But I think he's done promoting. Let's see, there's only 2 minutes left. We'll let him say the piece. I'll fill in what we didn't catch here. And then I really want to move on to the Moms for Justice live stream that I just think is this batshit crazy girl. I don't know. Maybe I need to send this woman an email and tell her what's up. Maybe she's just thinking of things wrong, but I can't wait to see what you guys think of it. And this, again, is a common perspective that I've seen from so many different creators. Some of them, I guess, were stupid enough and then I guess smart enough to take down yesterday's live streams today before too many more people saw how reckless, irresponsible, and greedy they were being. But this one woman, I guess, just didn't get it. I don't know.
Mike, you know something? I've worked cases like this. And as the cases go into 1 week later, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks. The neighborhood, the community, the police department, the government, the mayor, everyone gets a little crazy. But you can be assured that the Columbus Police Department and the Columbus Homicide Unit is out there 24/7 knocking on doors trying to solve this case, Mike.
Yeah, as the gentleman said, there's nothing. He's disconcerting about. There's no information. This is where I think if there was a well-trained police spokesperson, maybe the police commissioner, just to have a brief press conference and let people know that the investigation is moving forward. What's taking time is getting all that technological data back on the cell phones, on the Ring cameras. The geofencing, possible DNA, looking at the results of the autopsy, and just explain to the public a little bit. Because if I was in that neighborhood, I would be very, very concerned, like that gentleman was.
Was I on mute the whole time? Was I mute the whole time, guys? Did you hear me talking? Shit. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean contract, Molly McMom. Sorry, I was typing quickly. We'll talk about that. Do you guys just hear me talking or was it mute? Darn it. Okay, you didn't hear me talking. Oh my God, I was just going off. Shit. I don't even know for how long it was muted. Darn it. Darn it. Okay. So the point that he was just making there, is very good, that the police chiefs this aired yesterday. This police off the cuff aired yesterday. So yesterday, the police ain't said boo to the public. There was no press conference. There was no, public, state, like official statement. There was no police chief fucking it all up like they did in Moscow, Idaho. Oh, Chief James Fry, baby, couldn't even become sheriff. And then, just today, the police chief did sit down with that reporter for video recorded interview. And we just played it a little while ago. We didn't talk about it thoroughly. Sorry about that, guys. But to me, it just came off as being very generic, very non-committal, very not authentic, not really giving information, not even giving a proper assurance to the community that the police are doing their all to keep the community safe, and that, they think it is whatever or not whatever, you are safe or you should be on guard. Or it just really kind of was, it was just like a placeholder. Like they felt like we got to put something out there, make some kind of a headline. Hopefully it'll hold people's appetites over while they consume all of the false reports about this case as well and believe them. Oh God. And I think that sit down interview the chief of police in Columbus, Ohio did today is going to down the road be looked upon like the interview or the press conference that Chief James Fry and the Moscow PD did after the Idaho 4 stabbings, and people who the equivalent of the Probergers for that case. And I love you guys, even though y'all wrong. I'm just kidding. I don't agree. I think Brian Koberger is guilty and he's admitted it, and I moved on. But I respect your opinion. The people who are the equivalent of the Probergers for this case, eventually there will be a suspect. Eventually there will be charges. People, even if this guy, whether this person is guilty of sin or not, and it is obvious as the, sky above, there are going to be people who are going to have conspiracy theories up the wazoo and are going to insist whoever the suspect is innocent until the day they die. It might even be inscripted on their headstone when they are buried in sweet Mother Earth. I mean, people get really, extreme about this, right? I think they will point back to that sit-down interview the chief of police did today, and what he said, what he didn't say, and how insignificant it was, is going to be a touch point for the pro-burgers of the Tepe case to help anchor their conspiracy theories. Probably, the police were involved. The police probably did it. Stuff like that, So, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, and Nothing But Sense says, oh, it's happening in Camden, New Jersey, too. Even Camden, my God, that's so crazy. I know somebody who just paid almost $300,000 for a place there, which is notorious for being a real bad area, getting worse over the years. Camden is right across literally the bridge from Philadelphia, and it is, yeah, Camden is really fucking scary place. And I'm not worried about. I'm okay being Kensington. But Camden is scary. Yeah. Okay. Oh, sweet Melissa 1320. Thank you very much for letting me know and welcome. Okay, so hey Michelle G, how are you doing? Yep, it's 11 p.m. here too, Michelle. Very glad you're here. Yeah, Ruth Ann said the police chief didn't say anything. No, he didn't say anything at all. It was just kind of like a token situation. He was giving the public a token. That always backfires, don't you think, guys? So, all right. Now, what I'm going to bring into the stream now is a channel called Moms for Justice. I love the concept. I love the name. That's great. We want Moms for Justice. Absolutely. Now, I've got to warn you. He plays some of Gray Hughes' video. You know how Gray Hughes does like a Google Earth and drops some pins in every crime? And then I remember back in the Kylie Rodney case, I got some kind of exclusive video footage that was proven ever since then to be authentic. He emailed me and he's like, where did you get that video footage? I didn't email him right back because I had COVID and I was really sick, but he gets all possessive about that stuff. People making a lot of jokes on it, and Reddit. There's a great Reddit subreddit called YouTube Bad Actors. They talk a lot about Gray Hughes, now Lauren Matthias. Anyway, this creator of Moms for Justice was playing a Gray Hughes video, and her chat is like, dude, not Gray Hughes. And she's like, what's wrong with him? So, she's maybe a little green, but still, rather than to say anything more about it, I'm just going to bring it in and we'll stop and talk about it together. And again, this is because so many videos were taken down of the irresponsible and reckless reporting people did yesterday and the day before when things were coming out, and they just ran with it and did some pretty ugly victim blaming, or just convincing rather large audiences that they garnered up regardless of whether they usually get a lot of views or not. And convinced a lot of people of things that weren't true. And I saw evidence of these seeds of bullshit that were planted in the viewers of their channels, sprinkled and bandied about, Reddit, Facebook, other channels, the comment section of my own channel. And, we just have to really be careful with this stuff, because these victims, they're orphan children. Their family and their friends and us as a human society deserve justice for the victims, most of all, justice for all, resolution, to not fear crimes like this happening to ourselves or the ones that we love, and that the system of justice, police responding to wellness calls, even when operators are cranky about it, and then, prosecutors doing the right thing, suspects being defended properly as the Constitution guarantees, and judges overseeing fair, unbiased judicial process. It's all very important to each and every one of us. And to, just carelessly and recklessly and selfishly put out all that bullshit information right now, I think it just really obviously rubs me the wrong way. I'm pissed about it and I want to talk about it. And I know some of you probably are too. Maybe you don't realize it's happening. So let's talk more about it. Just gotta bring up that video. Moms for Justice. I'm a mom and I'm for justice. Oh God, I thought I was muted again. Oh, I'd be mad. Okay. I'm sorry, Moms for Justice. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm really tired. And I'm not, listen, I'm not trying to target you, Moms for Justice, should you ever hear me saying these words right now. I'm really not. You just were either sincere and true to yourself enough to not take down some of this content, or dumb enough to not realize it shouldn't be up in the first place. I'm not sure which. I'm giving you the benefit of a doubt because you're a mom for justice. But I just happened to pick your content to, poke the pins in the voodoo doll. Hope it doesn't hurt too much. Here comes Mom for Justice. A mom for justice. There she is, a mom for justice. Oh, that's me. Oh, I'm a mom for justice. Aw. I guess we have more in common than I realized. Mom for justice.
Then this morning I woke up and there was some new development.
Oh, yeah. Okay. She was going to take the weekend off. She thought she wasn't going to talk about this case anymore. She just talked about it yesterday, but then she woke up and there was all of these new developments and she just had to get with her peeps and talk about it. I listened to this in my car while I was shopping
Yesterday, the Tepe murder, and I thought we covered it all. But then this morning I woke up and there was some new developments, and I'm watching and I'm reading and reading, and I said to myself, you know what? I gotta hop on here and talk to you guys. So I know it is a last minute impromptu live, but here I am again. I thought I would maybe have the weekend and I'd be back on Monday on this case, but it is ever evolving and there's always something going on with it. So there are new developments with the murders of Spencer and Monique Tepe. This is a case that is shaken the Ohio community. Everybody wants answers. Everybody wants to know what's going on, especially because
now I think I better put a scroll down the bottom of the screen saying, what is being said here should not be taken as news reporting or fact. So, that goes without saying, basically, after everything she is saying, that should be said. There's all this, new information revealed, all these reports, all this, breaking news stuff. No. That's how she took it, or that's how she heard something and she's presenting it now. And she wants you to take it that way because then she'd be breaking news. But that's not what it really is. So this is the problem.
there's a possibility. Some people might think there's a possibility that there is an intruder involved here, like a random burglary or some random guy that was just,
just really quick. It's come up a few times in chat. Just to address the burglary possibility. I just really struggle with that. I've had some conversations with a few people try to convince me that that's what it is or that's what it could be. But listen, there was no sign of forced entry. There was nothing taken out of the house. There was nothing disheveled other than the dead body, the people of the dead couple and parents that were shot to death in their own home. Several shots to Spencer, one shot to Monique. Nothing else was out of place. So why the fuck would somebody whose motivation is burglary for drug money go into a house where there's a dog? We haven't even talked about the dog yet. Beautiful golden doodle named Larry. Where there are two children. There are signs that there are children there. There's stuff in the backyard. There's stuff in the house. Why would you go into a house like that? Go shoot up the residence and then leave without anything. Obviously, no one thought anything was wrong at the Tempe residence until Spencer didn't show up for work the next day. So it's not like, there were people knocking at the door. There were sirens coming. Like he had some sense of urgency. Like, oh my God, I got to get out. If I don't get out right now, I'm going to get caught. If it was a burglar, I just can't make sense of this. It was a burglary, or it was a random crime, or it was a stranger that just decided they wanted to go, bust into this house and shoot up these parents of young children. What do you guys think of that? Can you make any sense of that sort of a theory? I mean, it's totally possible. It's just my brain's not going that way. But also, as I was talking about in my video I was playing a little earlier, where I went into all of the crime scene, the crime data analysis and statistics of, criminology and victimology, who commits crimes to whom, who's victims of crimes, in what situation, where does it happen? I mean, when I crunched the numbers, I was doing this with my mom last night. She thought that I didn't include something which would have made it a 1.8% chance that the assailant was not known to them. But my initial calculation was there's a 1.2% chance that the victim is known to them, or not known to them, a stranger. And I think it's pretty accurate. I work with, data and numbers evaluation all day, every day for what I do. So it's very statistically, it's a very, 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 very low probability that the person who shot them was a total stranger. That's what I'm trying to say.
But most of us think that this is close to home. Most of us think that somebody that knows the Tepes did this crime. And that's what we're trying to figure out. And there's like several Facebook groups going on that I'm a member of now. And you are all coming up with some really great theories. So anyway, just to recap, just in case there's anybody on here that doesn't know and can follow along, Spencer Tepe is a respected dentist, and his wife, Monique, they were both shot to death in their Columbus area home, and their 2 young children were spared. They're present in the house during this murder, and they were left alive. That is a clue in itself. So the discovery was made after Spencer failed to show up for work. And, he has a dentist. He had patients waiting to be seen, and coworkers got very, very concerned. So, this was really out of character for him, according to all his coworkers and family members. He was very punctual. He was always on time. So it's definitely a major concern. And when police arrived, they found the couple deceased and shot to death in their master bedroom. The case has immediately been classified as a double homicide. And from the very beginning, these murders are raising a lot of troubling questions because there are a lot of clues. And I've been going over them in the last couple lives that I've done. And but before we start, go ahead and comment below. Let me know where you guys are from. Let me know if I have any of my repeaters on from yesterday or the day before. Also, my usual Moms for Justice crowd. I know this is so last minute. I did not even advertise for this. I think I decided to do this 15 minutes ago. 15, 20 minutes ago. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to jump on here and talk to the peeps about this because it is just all these new things are coming out even today. So,
I'm playing all this mundane stuff because, again, this is kind of representative of the multitude of channels that were reporting a lot of the things she's going to say in here, and then let's stand by as other facts, yesterday and even into the day before. And those videos, for the most part, are not to be found, at least in their entirety, any longer, which I guess is a good thing. You're like, okay, I fucked up, I took it down. But I think it's more, I don't know. Or is it just I don't want to look like an asshole because everyone's going to know that I reported this as a fact and it's fiction. It's going to lose credibility for my channel. I don't know. But again, the rumors that were started are infiltrating into every, forum that is talking about this crime right now. And the people who are truly seeking justice for our society, but mostly for these victims and their loved ones, it's just, the point I'm making is we really need to be careful about that shit.
In the days and weeks following the killings, a lot of people are rallying around the Tepe family. There's been interviews. You've had the brother-in-law speak. Seems like a really great, upstanding guy. Some people are even saying that, well, unfortunately, some people have pointed out that maybe they think that he's involved, but I don't think so. Let me know what you think about that. I don't think this brother-in-law has anything to do with any of it. So as details have slowly emerged, investigators are piecing together this activity. It is a complicated investigation. We have to give them time to, come forward with what they have. Hello, everybody. Hi, Cherry Blossom, Ruth Lynn, Carrie, Barbara, Booktuber. Come on, guys. Don't be shy. So the neighbor's call was approximately, they're saying a 3-minute walk from the Tepe residence. Now, there's no doubt about it. I showed you guys yesterday. I will show you again.
Oh God, I got to go back a minute here. Okay, so she's introducing this whole brand new thing we haven't even touched on yet here. Okay, so listen carefully to this. Okay, and I really want to know what you think about this and what she's saying. And what she's saying is very, very similar to what other creators were saying. In fact, I'm not going to say anything more about that, but let me know what you think here, because I'm just not really following this logic.
Of people are rallying around the Tepe family. There's been interviews, suspicious banging on. Come on, guys, don't be shy. Comment. I want to know where you guys are from. Anybody from Columbus, Ohio here? That would be really great if we had some insight from somebody that lives in the area. Okay. The latest development today is a suspicious banging on a door, like literally right around the corner. Okay. This is on December 19, 2025, 11 days before Spencer and Monique were shot to death. Okay. So a neighbor who lives just a
So again, suspicious banging on a door in the middle of the night, 11 days before Spencer and Monique were murdered at a residence that is located somewhere that is about a 3-minute walk from the Tepe residence. We're talking an urban environment, a crowded city, lots of people per square, whatever, people per square, whatever of real estate. Every city, really crunches that number down. So you're like, well, shit, people are really on top of each other. It's like that in Columbus, Ohio, for sure. So okay, 11 days ago, 3-minute walk away from the Tepe residence, somebody was banging on a front door at a house. Okay, and in what?
Or walk from their home, from the Tepe home, called 911 at, and get this, 2:31 a.m. in the morning to report that someone was banging and, quote, smashing on her front door. That is so unbelievably scary. Okay. So this person is basically saying that the person was trying to break in. Obviously, they didn't succeed. The woman told a 911 dispatcher that she did not know who it was and could not see the person, and the disturbance ends.
And I would like to say, as far as I know, there's not an actual 911 recording audio of this call. This is a report from the woman who says that she lives a 3-minute walk away from the Tepe residence. And 11 days before they were murdered, somebody was banging on her door in the middle of the night. So the fuck what? I'm just really not, I'm not like, this is, and this was like a big development in the Tepe murder mystery. Like, what? Even like, I live in a small town, but it's like a neighborhood. I'm trying to think of like what's a 3-minute walk? Okay, I'm making my radius around me right now. Like if 11 days ago, even in my small town, if something happens, as a crime happens here tonight, and it's not going to, don't worry. After the Koberger incident, I've got all kinds of security and locks, and like nobody ain't getting here. It's Fort Knox. Yeah, that crime really changed the way I live my life. I've told you guys that before. But if crime were to happen here in my home tonight, and then I heard 11 days ago, even in my small town, a person who lives in a house that's a 3-minute walk away from me had someone banging on their front door. I wouldn't be like, holy shit, causal connection. It must be the same person. This is just so, I don't know. I just don't like it. It's stupid.
At 2:44. So 2:31 a.m. to 2:44, somebody is banging and smashing on this person's door. That is a long time. Okay. I always talk about the fact that people, if you don't like protect your home and there's somebody like trying to, opening, your front door, turning the doorknob, trying different windows. Think about how quickly somebody can do that, get inside, and start attacking.
I gotta keep myself unmuted. Sorry. Right, exactly. Ain't nobody who actually wants to get in your house unless it's like a drunk ex of yours or a drunk former employee or employer. She's gonna make a point in a minute where they live close to bars. It's such a trashy neighborhood. They live close to bars. And some of them are dives, and some of them are very swanky, expensive whiskey bars and stuff in the Tepe neighborhood. But yeah, if somebody really wanted to get in their home the way the person who murdered the Tepes apparently want to get in their home, ain't no one banging on the door for 11 minutes, 11 days ago, 3-minute walk away. Like, seriously, come on. Like, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
You. Well, seconds, not minutes, seconds. That could all happen in under a minute. So from 2:31 to 2:44, well over 10 minutes, this person is banging and knocking on the door. That is absolutely terrifying to me.
Get the fuck out
the
here,
neighbor's
banging
call was approximately, they're saying a 3-minute walk from the Tepe residence. Now, there's no doubt about it. I showed you guys yesterday. I will show you again right here. This is the neighborhood that it's coming to be, that this is a very poor neighborhood. It is not. It's riddled with crime. It's not far from the college. There's like bars and, right around, I think like a block away, there's bars.
Oh my God, not bars, a block away. It's saying everything here. Sorry, my bunny, it's just got all crazy. One of them is chewing cardboard. The other one is scratching in her cage. You guys are going to hear all kinds of crazy. I'm going to move to some better. Hold it. I got to go get some better sound acoustics here. Sorry, this is gonna make me crazy. Okay, I'm moving. Okay, it's bunny party time. Okay, so she's like, it's a really awful neighborhood. It's a really poverty-stricken neighborhood. It's really dangerous. There's a bar a block away. There's a bar a block away. It's very dangerous. No, it's like we were talking before. It's one of those gentrified neighborhoods. And, there's a mixed crowd of people, as there are all over America, and especially in the cities of the United States. And also, guess what? Other countries. I mean, I guess when I was hearing her talk about this, and I've heard a lot of other creators, the same ones that were reporting on this bullshit so irresponsibly, speaking in the same way. And it just tells me everything I need to know about what I think about, really, putting any stock in their perspective. What do you guys think about that? Am I being the bitch? Maybe I am. I don't know. Let me know.
I'll show you right here. It's not the best area. And we kind of went down these streets. Yeah, I'll go this way today. So you guys we'll go down a side street. But, let me just show you first. That right there is where the Tepe residence is. Okay. Right now it's showing nothing there but land. Okay, that's the best shot right there. This is where the townhome is. There was 3 or 4 right there, and it was smack in the middle.
I'm sorry, that's not a bad neighborhood. That is a mixed neighborhood in a vibrant city where, here in America, we are the melting pot of the world where all kinds of people come together. And you know what? When I moved from Philadelphia, that's when I lived in Fishtown, which bordered on Kensington. Fishtown, the neighborhood, just like the Tepe's neighborhood, just like it. My house was very much like theirs. One of the reasons I moved back here was my son was in kindergarten. There was a reason having to do with my family and my parents getting older. My dad died last year, some of you know. So I'm glad that I did. But I really am. I'm an urban girl at heart. But, there was, crime in Philadelphia, of course. And no matter where I lived, even when I lived in the nicest neighborhoods, there was crime right outside my front door. There was crime happening in my apartment one time, and I came home it's just, it just happens. Crime, it's a thing. True crime, look how big the genre is. Crime fucking happens everywhere. I thought, well, maybe, if I move back to my hometown, this small town, I'm thinking of things in a very like white picket fence, little house on the prairie kind of way. There's going to be less crime. He's going to have a more wholesome upbringing. Oh yeah, well, bullshit. So we moved back here, and there is literally, my house backs up about an acre, backs up onto a river. There are, within a month of living here, there was literally a camper set up on my yard on the river, people cooking meth. I'm not even kidding. And it's everywhere. Like, I was like, oh my God, now that I'm here, there's probably statistically about an equal amount of crime, more or less, but I'm seeing it all because I'm in this small town and it's all right fucking in front of me. At least when I lived in Philadelphia, it was a big city and there was tons of people and I didn't have to see it all the time if I didn't want to. So this whole like logic she's going with, that other people are, I do not like it. I will not accept it. I will say something about it whenever I hear it because y'all are like lily ass privileged people and you need to open up your minds a little bit.
This townhome, and they were nice upper middle class, modern townhomes that were plopped here. But when you look around, it's still a bad area. And I'm saying still because people said yesterday that they're fixing it up and they're trying to make it better. But in the meantime, there's still some bad areas. So if we go down these side streets here, it doesn't look good. People are commenting on my page telling me it is.
Can you hear me now? Can you guys hear me? Let me know you can hear me before I say anything else. Please. Can you hear me? 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 Come on, somebody let me know. Okay, thank you. So she's like, it's like they were like making a lot of money. They were like, middle upper class people, but they chose to live here. And look, I'm scrolling through the streets and it's a really bad neighborhood. There's like crime that happens. Dude, there's fucking crime that happens everywhere, bitch. Get over it. Did you hear my story about when I moved from Philadelphia to the small town I live in now? And I thought it'd be safer. And the back of my property within a month, somebody set up a camper on the river because my property backs up into the river and was cooking meth. Do you guys hear me talk about that? So anyway, I just think that this woman, her perspective, the perspective that she comes from is very, white, middle, upper class, don't really accept a lot of other people, don't really open up my mind, gonna hear some bullshit, gonna repeat it, hope it does good for my channel. Hi, peeps. I can't. Okay, good. You heard it. Okay. I didn't know if it was on me or not. All right. Good. Now you heard it twice. That was kind of scary though. And I had a hard time getting the authorities to do anything about it because the river separates the city from the town. So they spent like a week trying to figure out if the city police or the sheriffs in the town should take care of it. I'm like, somebody get the fucking meth cookers off my property now. I don't care who it is. It was really maddening.
Horrible. It is like lots of crime in the area. And I think some of these homes over here were like frat houses because it's really close to the college. So, yes. And there are bars.
Guys, bars! Oh my God, there are bars! Dude, I'm sorry. Look at these houses. Like, this is not like the ghetto. This is not where people go when they're on their journey down below for eternity. This is fucking crazy. This is crazy to me. Now that I'm watching this again, it's just almost, it's not comical because of what we're talking about. But what do you guys think about that? Huh? You have different experiences. What do you think?
I think like a block away. So anyway, back to what I'm saying. So the suspicious banging on the door. Now it turns out that this person that had somebody banging on their door in the middle of the night, they called 911. And guess what? No one showed up. Nobody showed up. Okay. Police did not respond directly to this 911 call. There's no public.
Again, I believe that's what this 911 supposed caller is saying. Does anybody understand this story to be any different? And if they didn't, I would say bad on the police for sure. But I'm not sure about this part. Does anyone know about this?
Record that an officer ever made contact with either the caller or anyone else leaving the scene. and the caller was unable to describe the person. So that goes to show you how much they care about the area. But while much of the evidence suggests that the perpetrator may have been someone that the Tepe family knew, the late night door banging incident nearby could still fit within that framework. And I'll explain why. Because one possibility is that a familiar person who would be someone comfortable in the neighborhood, okay, but knew the Tepe family, could possibly have been the one to bang on that door because they were going to test out like response time or seeing whether any loud, aggressive behavior in the early morning hours would trigger the police to come or other.
Okay, kind of interesting, but I think that was ripped off from Chris McDonough's channel, The Interview Room. I'm pretty sure it was actually, because it was said almost verbatim by him, and he's a retired homicide detective, and I think he's pretty good at what he does. But also, okay, maybe, that could be a good theory. Thank you, Chris, that, somebody was testing law enforcement response time. So, yeah. So, well, if it was 11 days later, that would say to me that was, about a week and a half later. So it would be a totally different day of the week. And there's many different variables that influence police response time. December 19th, 6 days before Christmas, December 30th, my birthday, 5 days after Christmas, the day before New Year's Eve, it was much, much colder. I don't know about that. And if you're going to test police response time, don't you think that you'd be satisfied with, scaring someone enough to have them call 911, go hide somewhere? Do you think you'd stay at their fucking front door and keep knocking for 11 and a half minutes until the cops actually show up and arrest you? And then you can't commit your crime on December 30th because you've been arrested. This is just like craziness.
Neighbors, like what would happen? It could have been like a trial run, and that still could be done by somebody that knew the Tepes, right? Also, isn't it to their advantage that it was a bad area? I would think so. It's
Yo, Moms for Justice. I'm going to just say one more time. It's not a bad area. It's not a bad area. Just because everybody isn't white when you walk outside of your door, and they don't all have manicured lawns and invisible fences and a basketball hoop that adjusts for little people because the kids have to play basketball, and, nice bicycles that were way too expensive for your, elementary children to be riding around, and they don't even like it anyway, and they say you're a bitch behind your back. Just because that's not the situation they live in doesn't mean it's a bad neighborhood. All right, I'm gonna stop with that now.
It's really, and by the way, let me just also say this. It also could just be a random person too, right? But I don't want to rule out that just because this new news about someone banging on the door 11 days earlier, I don't think that rules out somebody that knows the Tepe.
It's not news, and I have no idea why so many people were blowing up about this.
Family or somebody that's close to them, because, they could just be, let's see how it's going to go when I try to break in at 2 in the morning. Because isn't that odd? 2:44 a.m. 2:44 a.m. And when did the Tepe murder happen? Between 2 and 5 a.m.
Oops.
11 days before.
I would also like to say that bars in that neighborhood close at 2:30 a.m. So 2:44 a.m., that's a likely time for, oh my God, there's bars right down the street. So somebody's stumbling out of that bar right down the street, 2:30. Maybe if they were lucky, they got to stay an extra couple minutes, have another shot. They're stumbling down the street. They go knocking at a door. Maybe they knew that woman. Maybe it was the next. Maybe it was a random person. Maybe they were confused. Maybe they thought they were going to someone else's house. Maybe they just thought they were having fun. Maybe they thought they were beating on a drum for 11 minutes. But they definitely weren't checking law enforcement response time and staying there for 11 and a half minutes. I mean, I got to go to bed.
I mean, it's just these are not coincidences to me. They're just not. So with that said, I wanted to show you guys something that I found today. And some people might have already seen this, because if you're looking up this crime, people are looking for news. They're looking.
And in comes Gray Hughes in a mentioning of the Watts case.
Looking for anything they could find on it, but I found this awesome channel. Okay. Gray Hughes Investigates. Go ahead after you're done with this and go check it out, subscribe, whatever. But I'm
Dickhead, Gray Hughes investigates, jackass to everyone, begs for super chats nonstop, and likes to use Google Earth and drop pins and claim it's his own. Great channel, guys. Go sub right now. Endorsed by Moms for Justice, or as Mike Applegate said, MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Also, maybe I don't know if that's a coincidence. There must be a connection. Moms for Justice, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, MAD. Yep, I got it.
I'm going to play this video that he has up because it is too good not to play it. He talks about how a possible, random person or whoever the perpetrator is could have been getting around. All right, so hold on. Let me just move this here.
We're going.
Now, in all fairness, I do just also have to say that Gray Hughes dropped this video yesterday. I don't ever watch his channel. I mean, he's just been such a horrible person to me and everybody else. I just can't even. I can't. My conscience will not allow me. I just don't want to. So, he dropped this video yesterday. I heard about it on the subreddit YouTube actors that writes a lot about Gray Hughes and Laura Mathias and some other people. And I still didn't watch it, but in YouTube ad actors, they described it very well. But I got to tell you, I meant to have that video up too to show you this, but I'll try to find it. It's in my download somewhere. The local news channel that first reported the CCTV security camera footage in the alleyway of the person of interest that police want to talk to near the Tempe residence that we've all seen, that the only visual police have released. That local channel explained exactly where that footage was taken. When they explained it to me, I could visualize it. I was right there. I looked at the map. I knew exactly where that footage was. So Gray Hughes, basically takes that local news channel's report and Google Earth dropped some pins and now it's his and he's a genius. I mean, these kind of people, talking about this case in this way, and I don't know, it makes me kind of mad. Like this is like a really serious thing. There are orphan children. These two beautiful people have been murdered. There are families who are suffering and are forever changed. There are, in this happening in our society, in our community, among humanity. I mean, we feel it all like on a visceral level. It's not okay. That's why, we all, get together and seek the truth and fight for justice, because it is for them. Absolutely it is. It's for the victims. It's for those babies. And it's also for all of us in our sense of well-being in our life and in our community and in the society and in this world. So people just making a mockery of it with this stupid shit like this, like I just really don't like it. I was really surprised by it. I was really surprised to learn that all of it was completely fictional. It's like one channel just made up a story. They threw it to another. Doesn't this remind you what happened in the Idaho 4 case? And then it turned into this huge conspiracy theory. And it's just, I don't know. And when that happened in the Idaho 4 case, we took a stance against it then. And I certainly will again if it continues to happen in this case. So here we are, Moms for Justice.
Hold on. I want to pause it. I don't know
and
why.
Gray Hughes, he's amazing.
Crime, but what I like to
I'm sorry, guys. Oh no, that's just his screen. I'm getting all bugged out by his screen. Okay. So here. Let's watch what he says here. And he's got the map and he's got like a little thumbtack there where it says Tepe lives here. Let's listen because I was really drawn in. I'm like, oh.
She just explained Gray Hughes' whole shtick. He's like, look, he's got like a Google map and then he's got like a little thumbtack there and it's like where the Tepes live. Oh my God. That's all he ever does. And somebody's already done it. So he just pops a filter on it so it's not obvious and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then he belittles and berates you in chat because you haven't given him any money yet because he doesn't give you anything. it's just like this. It's just so dysfunctional. These people, I just like, step away. Stop talking about true crime. People actually care about this stuff. No one gives a shit about your pansy little ass ego and your Google Earth and thumbnails with a filter on it. Go away, Gray.
I got to show this to my peeps.
Do is figure out exact locations, and those locations generally tell a story. All right, so let's take a look at the surveillance footage.
He's going to try to tie these two together.
And here is the surveillance footage. Let's just play it full here. And you see him walking by, dark jacket, looks like a hoodie with light pants, maybe gray, and some darker shoes. All right, so we'll back it up again. And you see him walking there. Now, you can tell this is an alley because of how narrow it is. Now, we know there's an alley behind his house. I guessed on the first show that the killer came in from back behind. So I initially started looking on the alley right behind the house, and eventually I had to look everywhere.
And I just need to reiterate, no, he didn't, because the local news channel that initially reported this broke it all down and explained it in great detail, absolutely perfectly. This is a script. This is bullshit. This is Gray giving himself more credit than he deserves. And this bitch buying it.
Because I couldn't find it. I was looking for this brick pillar right there. So this is the brick pillar right there that I was looking for. And if we go to Google Maps, this is where the house is at 1411 4th Street, Columbus, Ohio. And then there's an alley right there. Now, if you go down to Street View here, and you go down the alley, you know, this is the
I don't even know this guy.
behind the
I just saw
house
his
is this
video.
one
It's
right
interesting.
here. And if you go down the alley, I was looking for the cement pillar, and I just couldn't see it. You know, as soon as you get to right here, it switches over to a different scene, and then I went down here, and I just kept going this direction and this direction and this direction, and then I went down a whole bunch of other alleys looking for that pillar, and then I went this direction. I think this is the first direction that I went originally, but I went down like this, and as you can see from this angle, it looks like everything kind of remains the same-ish, you know.
Well,
But you go
let's see
down
what he
here
says, guys, because I
and
didn't get
you
to watch it
turn
yet.
around, and once you're in this location right here, see how all this stuff gets covered over? You can't see it. So there's only 2 frames where it actually shows that right there is the brick pillar that you see in the background right there. All right, and see this little opening here. And then another thing to look out for are these 2 rails or whatever that come out of the.
Oh, awesome. Hey, so I just want to read this comment. So Kim Adair 9987 says, hi there. I live in Columbus. I just passed the house. I've been closely listening and watching this case. I love true crime and constantly listening as I'm working. Kelly, you do a great job. Well, thank you so much, sweetheart. I really appreciate that. And thank you so much for saying hello. And yeah, I was telling you my friend Justice through A through Z lives there as well. I was hoping she'd come on tonight, but she didn't. But do you have anything to tell us about that neighborhood? Is it a scary neighborhood for you? Is there anything you can tell us about that, you know, confirms or, you know, kind of gives us another side of the story of what we've been talking about here? I'd love to hear it. Oh, she said also, let's see. I don't know if you knew, but Wineland Park is very close to OSU. It's quite a busy area. Right. Yeah. It's right next to the college campus. It's kind of like a hustle and bustling area, right? Like, oh my God, there's a bar. There's a bar down the street. Oh my God. Like, yeah, obviously there's a bar down the street, man. It's like people like to socialize. We're human beings. That's what we do. Thank you so much for speaking up. Please let me know if there's anything you want to tell us. I would really super love to hear it. Oh, that's right. Yeah, she was doing a live stream on the ICE incident, right? Yeah, I don't touch politics, but yeah, she was texting me about that earlier. I'm sure she's doing a great job.
This doorway. I don't know exactly what those are because I can't go look at it on Street View because the timing changes from 2025 to 2019, and there was a lot of remodeling and construction that went on in that time frame. However, look right there. There are those 2.
There was a lot of remodeling, and construction that happened in that time frame. Gray just said it, and tell Mom for Justice why, Gray. Because of urban sprawl, gentrification, redistribution of economy and wealth, and an urban environment, right? All of that psycho, community stuff that we know happens, among human beings on Earth and in the United States, and especially in cities. Tell your girl Moms for Justice all about it, Gray. Gray, she love you.
Rails that come out. There's a brick pillar, and then here is the garage that has the surveillance camera on it. And this is the cement slab that you see in this video right here. So he's walking by in this direction, and you can see there's that area.
Okay, I've got to move past the Gray part because I'm giving him too much airtime here. It's like, again, I said morally opposed to that. Yeah. Don't watch this video. If you want to see all of this, I'll send you the link to the news broadcast that owns this.
So investigators are saying that the surveillance video has become key focus because of what it shows and what it doesn't. And the person of interest is seen walking calmly through an alleyway near the Tepe home during the early morning window. He was wearing a dark coat, light colored pants, and his face is, they are saying that it's partially obscured. Personally, I didn't see any part of his face. So there's that. Retired FBI special.
You have to think about why that might be. Maybe he's keeping his head down. There's cameras there. Maybe he's the person that did kill them. Who knows? Maybe he is. But, something that was really easy to do that I thought of, I was like, oh, you know what? December 30th, it was my birthday. I actually was out walking a little after midnight. It wasn't quite as late as that, but, it was my winter break. It was nice out. It was snowing here. I like to walk. I feel a little stir crazy. I was out walking then, and it was 12 degrees here. So I was like, oh, you know what? We have usually very similar weather to Ohio. So I wonder what the temperature was there. Everyone's making such a big deal about this guy having his face down. And maybe it is for reasons of masking his identity. I do not know. I have no idea. But it also might be that it was 18 degrees in Columbus, Ohio, with a wind chill of 11 degrees. And, he wasn't wearing his, Brian Kohlberg or Bon Culver or whatever it's called. I'm sure I know walking around at night in those temperatures, especially in those alleys in a city, the wind, it all comes together and has to flow somewhere because, cities create like a different, geographical. So I'm trying to think. Oh God, I can't think. It's just too late for me. But it's a different environment, and wind will blow wickedly down those alleyways. People who live in areas like that know that. So whether the wind was blowing or not, it was 11 degrees wind chill there. He was probably pretty fucking cold. He didn't, he has a jacket on. He's going to put his face down the jacket. It's like, I just want to, think about all of the things we need to think about when we are looking at potential pieces of evidence that could eventually lead to justice for these, victims and their orphan children, and not rush to conclusions that, we start to spread across the internet like wildfire, and, start to populate the streets of YouTube with a whole another breed of probers. Hello? Oh no, I can't end it this way. So guys, I'm sure Cuff you told you. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to end it. When I moved my computer to move away from the bunny sounds, I didn't realize my computer was so low on battery, so it just wound down on me. But I have to go to bed soon anyway. I'm gonna be doing another live stream tomorrow night, and I'm so glad you guys were all here tonight. And I'd love to see you again tomorrow night. So I'm so sorry to end this so abruptly. But you guys are amazing, and remember, life is hard, and you never know what tomorrow is going to bring. So please be good to each other, and especially please, please, please be good to yourself, because you deserve the world and you deserve to be treated like the amazing person you are by yourself. So go do something great for yourself, because I know you don't treat yourself good enough. We don't do that for ourselves, and I know you don't. So that's my message to you, and I'm going to try to figure out how to end the stream now. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow night around 9 p.m. Eastern. I've never used StreamYard on my phone before, honestly. Let's see here. And stream. And stream. No, and stream. Oh, man. Oh.